What is going on, everybody? Gamers Goon here, and we have a QB battle brewing in Eugene. Let's talk about it. So, the big QB battle, the big QB battle this year for the Oregon Ducks. There's no Bo Nix, there's no Dillon Gabriel in the mix, right? Like, there's no veteran. You look at a relatively inexperienced room, but a very talented room, and we'll get to two more of our quarterbacks later. And we got four QBs that are all in the running, not necessarily the QB1 running, but in the running for having a significant role for Oregon in the upcoming future or this season. Now, that is Dante Moore, Austin Novosad, Luke Moga, and Akili Smith Jr. The QB1 battle, though, is the one that everybody should be focused on. We are a week away from Montana State, and rightfully so, there's a lot of questions regarding the QB battle. Now, I can't say for certain who will win this QB battle. I have my prediction, and that is Dante Moore, but let's just kind of go through the resumes of all the QBs on the roster that I think have a good chance at starting for Oregon at some point. Maybe not this year, but in the future. So we're going to start off with Dante Moore. Dante Moore, from everybody we break down like their high school rankings, we're going to be using 24/7 for the most part. 24/7 ranked Dante Moore the number 4 overall prospect, not just QB, prospect in football when he was coming out of high school. The third QB, so very highly recruited guy. A guy that at one point was committed to Oregon, and then we saw him flip his commitment to UCLA when Bo Nix was back, right? So Dante got that year of experience at UCLA, played a lot of football there, but he started 5 games for them. He played in a total of 9 at UCLA. It wasn't the greatest. He was 114 for 213, which is about 53%. Now, you know the Will Stein offense is going to try to push that up to 60, 65, maybe even higher. They're going to try to get the ball out quick. They're going to try to get it into their playmakers' hands. That is what we have seen them do with both Dillon Gabriel and Bo Nix the last few seasons. Dante Moore, I expect to easily be able to figure things out. If you look at the 5 games total, now one of them was the Penn State game where he didn't even throw the ball. 5 games total that Dante Moore has participated in with Oregon, he is 7 for 8 for 49 yards, which is respectable. It's definitely respectable. I think that's around 80-ish percent, 83% I think it is. So we've already seen in just a small segment of Will Stein in kind of some, not necessarily garbage time, but you had a lead and you were able to get in some of your second and third strings, we've seen Dante Moore be able to execute at a high level. 7 for 8 is pretty darn good. This is also a guy that at UCLA was able to win Pac-12 Freshman of the Week the second week of the season. We all know high potential here with this kid. He is somebody that we've been recruiting for a long time and able finally to get him in the door last year, and he got it a year behind Dillon Gabriel to kind of learn things, and I think that's a valuable experience for somebody like Dante Moore, who at UCLA kind of got thrown into the thick of it early, and he had threw 11 touchdown passes, 9 interceptions. Being able to sit and learn and kind of understand how to prepare for games under Dillon Gabriel, I think is going to do him wonders, and that is partially why he is my favorite to win the QB1 battle in Eugene. And also, this is a guy that was a top 4 player in the class. This is not just any old quarterback that transferred in and got to sit behind a really good QB in Dillon Gabriel, who I believe was a 3rd-round pick. This is a guy that has the talent. He's shown it. He was able, UCLA didn't put the greatest of talent around him. Let's not be crazy and just say they did, right? But he has a lot better playmakers around him now, and he was able to sit behind Dillon Gabriel. I think that is going to do wonders for him. And then you got Austin Novosad, and I don't think Austin Novosad is making it very easy to say hey, Dante, you're the QB1 of this team. We have seen Dan Lanning do it before, where he kind of just doesn't come out and say who the QB1 or who's winning certain position battles or anything. And he's doing that here with Dante Moore and Austin Novosad. I think there's a reason behind it. I don't think this is just coach speech here. I do think it's a close battle. Novosad is somebody that out of high school was the 157th national prospect, the 13th QB prospect. He's played 6 games for Oregon over the last 2 years. 6 games with 11 completions and 11 and 13. He went 11 and 13. 2 incompletions over 13 passes. 59 yards. Once again, very small sample size while at Oregon. And there's not much you can say there to give him an edge over Dante, because Dante has a lot of game experience from UCLA. Now, while it wasn't necessarily meaningful games and wasn't competing for the top of the conference or anything crazy like that, like we have the hope to at Oregon, Novosad is somebody that 24/7 they evalved him as a day 2 draftee, and basically what that means is you're going to be a really good college quarterback. Now, you look at guys that have had success in the past. I'm talking about, even Dillon Gabriel, right? He was a 3rd round pick, and he was really, really good for Oregon. You don't have to be a superstar to be a 2nd or 3rd round pick, right? You just have to be a really, really good college football player. Will Howard, for example, who I thought was really, really good last year at Ohio State and helped them win a national championship, he was not drafted on day 2. So that kind of shows you what kind of talent we're talking about with Novosad. This is a guy that can legitimately go out there and win you games, and not just win you games, but do it at a very high level, and not against like the smaller schools, not just against a team like Montana State, where you should hypothetically have the skill advantage. Montana State's still a really good team. They're just at the FCS level, right? But this is a kid right here in Novosad that legitimately has the talent, and I think he is a very safe option if you are Oregon. He is somebody that I think could go to any other school and probably win the starting job. I just think when you look at Dante Moore compared to Novosad, you gotta give Dante Moore the chance first, because Dante Moore has that experience. He has an insanely high ceiling. I think his floor at Oregon is going to be really, really high as well. Novosad is somebody that I think is going to be good. I don't know if he will ever be the great potential that Dante Moore can get to. Novosad is somebody that I think gives Oregon a really good chance to make the playoffs. And if I look at Dante Moore, he is somebody that I think might give Oregon the chance to win the national championship. So, you look at it, it's a really good QB battle to have. It's kind of the question of who do you want to trust more. I think both of them are really good options, but ultimately you can only pick one. They're both highly recruited guys. They're both guys that at the end of the day, one of them is going to be disappointed that they aren't the starter for this Oregon team, and you're hoping, just say it's Dante Moore, that he can do well enough to end up putting his name in the draft next year, and we do get to see a year of Novosad at Oregon's QB, because I think the guy has a lot of talent. I think he is better than even what Will Howard was. We've seen flashes of it in the spring game, and if you can be a Will Howard or better, guess what? That guy won a national championship. So I do think really the ceiling with Dante Moore kind of just is a little bit higher and something you might want to gamble with a little bit more. But Novosad, I think, could be a really good start. Oh, and by the way, guess who our OC Will Stein's been comparing Dante Moore to? Teddy Bridgewater. Ring a bell? 1st round draft pick. If he can be a 1st round draft pick, that probably means Oregon had a really, really good season. They might have won a national championship. Dante Moore, insanely talented. Novosad, not far behind, but I do expect Dante Moore to win the QB battle at this point in time. I would not be upset, though, if Novosad is the guy week 1. I don't think there is a wrong answer. I think it's kind of just a working it out process. So let's get into kind of the backup QBs now. The guys that aren't really on the radar to be QB1 this season, but guys that could be QB1 2, 3 years down the road. You got to think, hey, if Dante Moore returns, maybe Novosad leaves. If Novosad returns and the starting QB, maybe Dante Moore leaves, right? One of those guys could easily find a starting spot elsewhere. If they're both back next year in college football, or is it a guarantee that both of them are back on the Ducks? I don't know. So you're looking at guys that next year could potentially be the QB2. Maybe in 2 or 3 years they could be QB1 for this team. And the first name's actually the guy on the right, so we're going to kind of work backwards here, is Luke Moga. Luke Moga, now, he was only a 3-star recruit. There was some sites that had him at 4-star, but 24/7 composite rankings had him as a 3-star, 516th in the country, and the 33rd QB prospect. And you might be like, why is this guy in consideration even as a potential long-term developmental option at Oregon? Well, let me tell you why. Because this guy was recruited by a lot of big schools, hasn't been playing a lot of football in his life. He was recruited by TCU, Miami, and Arizona State. Because when he did play football, he was pretty good at it. This is a QB that's got a big arm, but he's also a QB that is extremely fast. Ran track in high school, was very, very good at it. I think he competed in the state championships, if I am correct. Luke Moga, very, very fast. You could even see him in a very limited role this season, potentially as maybe like a wildcat QB, or it might be able to line him up on some formations, because he's fast. He is fast. Like, I'm not even joking. When I say fast, this guy has the speed. Might be one of the fastest players on the team. So you look at it, and you're like, okay, probably a little bit of a project, but everything we've been hearing out of the staff has been good on him. You look at even the spring game, it was very impressive from Moga. He is somebody that, while he is a developmental option for Oregon, I don't necessarily think it is that crazy to think that a year or two down the line, Luke Moga will be in the spot of Dante Moore and Novosad, competing for that QB1 spot. He is somebody that I think has an insanely high ceiling because of his speed and because of just the rawness to him at the moment. He is somebody that, like I said, at this point, didn't really grow up like playing football, but he's pretty good at it already. So, I mean, he's locked in. He's only getting better. The ceiling, I don't even know where it is with this guy. He is far from a finished product, and I think he is one of the better QB3s in the country. So, you look at Oregon right now. Your QB2 is probably one of, if not the best in the country. It doesn't matter if it's Novosad or Dante Moore. Either or, it's one of, if not the best in the country. You look at your QB3, Luke Moga, it's going to be hard to find a better QB3. Now, he is more of a developmental prospect here, but he's somebody that I think has way higher potential than any other team's QB3. And then we get to Akili Smith Jr. He is somebody that's father played at Oregon, was a first-round pick. Obviously, the legacy is there. You might remember the name Akili Smith. Really good. Really talented player. Akili here is 6'5". Oregon has him listed at 230. His recruiting sites had him listed around 200. I don't know where exactly he is. We're going to go with Oregon's at 230. This guy's a big dude. A big dude. Good deep ball. He was a 4-star prospect. Composite 190th nationally and 16th QB prospect. Really good deep ball. Big arm. Somebody that is more of a pocket passer. You look at kind of the different profiles of the Oregon QBs. I think they've kind of done a little bit of everything. This guy is probably, I mean, he's a solid runner. I don't necessarily think that's going to be his game, though. I think he's going to just be delivering deep bombs down the field. He's going to be that kind of guy for us. So when I look at this QB room, it's hard for me to say it's not the most talented in the country. We'll go back to this scene real quick. You have Dante Moore, who is probably right now he's the favorite amongst the fan base, more likely than not. For most people, everybody I've heard assumes Dante Moore is QB1. He's probably one of the more unknown QB1s in the country in terms of what exactly he's capable of. It was a rough year at UCLA, but once again, the talent on Oregon, you'd probably take 10 times out of 10 with the talent that he played with at UCLA. A little bit more of one of the unknowns of this college football season is going to be how good Dante Moore is. You look at Novosad, we all think he is going to be a really, really good football player. He just really hasn't gotten a crack at it at Oregon at a significant level. He's played here and there. Like I said, he's played 6 games. But he's somebody that hasn't really gotten a fair shake at it just yet. He is in this QB race as potentially the best QB2 in the country. Then you go over here with QB3 and 4 with Moga and Achille. You got speed, you got the strength and power, deep balls down the field, and accuracy of Achille. This is a really good QB room right here. This group, I'm going to be honest, there's not many teams in the country that I think can stack up against it. Now, you might not have the high-level talent of like a Nussmeier that's proven and is thought to be, this guy's going to be a first-round draft pick or anything crazy like that, right? You don't know really what to expect out of this QB room. It is one of the more unknown commodities in college football at the moment, and I think that is why you see Oregon not ranked as high as maybe some think they could get, right? I think they're 7th in the AP poll at the moment. I think they can be higher. But that's going to depend a lot on this QB play. You look at the talent that is purely in the room, though, with this group. There's tons of potential. The problem is it's going to be up to Will Stein to get the best out of it. It's going to be up to Will Stein to evaluate who is going to be that guy to trot out on the field against Montana State. Obviously, Dan Lenning's going to be involved in that decision. I assume it's going to be Dante Moore. But Novosad, I would not be shocked. I would not be shocked if it's Novosad. Now, if it was somehow Moga, I would be very shocked. I think Moga is got a lot of potential, but I don't necessarily know if he's ready. I can guarantee you that Novosad and Dante Moore are both ready. I guarantee it. I look at Novosad and I think you could throw him in against Montana State. I know he's going to be prepared. I know we're probably going to win that game. We look at Dante Moore. We could throw him in. I'm thinking Dante Moore might be able to be player of the week. I mean, we have the talent at the QB room. The problem is sorting it all out, right? Because you can't make everybody happy. So we'll see who ends up winning it. But there's your little breakdown of the Oregon QB room heading into week 1 against Montana State. Anyways, thank you for watching, and I will see you all next time.